I met a gypsy.
While we're talking about the tracks, how do you feel about just never having a bowl turn that doesn't have a 3-foot rut in it?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You can't really do the whole square up stuff. You can't shoot across it to hit somebody or, that's tough. I don't know. Like, I like the ruts in the turns.
Seattle.
And I guess I could say I like the ruts in the transitions too, because I did well when it was rutted. But it did get a little bit. It got kind of old, like with how. But then again, we can't really sit there and point fingers at Dirtworks because like the weather that we had this year was insane.
Yeah.
I do think that new thing that they have where they like doing that little tiller. I think it's a bit weird that they're tilling the rhythm sections, because it's giving it just enough. Like it's a little bit, but it's giving it enough to get those ruts. And I just don't think that they really need to. They need to be there, especially in the rhythms, in my opinion, because it doesn't allow. Like I feel like Salt Lake was a little bit better. There wasn't as many ruts in the transitions, but you can't move either.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you want to start the rhythm on the right and try to move over to block your inside, like if somebody starts that rhythm on the left,
that's where you're ending up.
Yeah, and they're probably going to pass you on the left.
Yeah,
like you. Not saying that you want to see more cross jumping, but like you can't.
No, but you want to be able to move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And I think like even I think they did a good job of parlor this weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But like last year's parlor, bro, and that's actually why I brought up the scoop tire thing, because I watched that and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
like all Jet has to do is get a hole shot
and stay in that line
and stay on the inside.
Yeah,
because it's so rutted and it's so gnarly, you can't carry any more momentum.
No,
through. There's a limit of how fast you can go through this turn, and you have to go a way longer way around, which equals no fucking passing.
Yeah,
and it just seems like the most simple equation, and we're like really starting to see that in Supercross as well, you know, and it's like you just don't have the freedom to move, and then you get into these bowl turns and it's just like you've just got to get in one of those ruts, and it just doesn't feel like there's as much creativity. It doesn't feel like there's as much like flow to the racing, and I think even the statistics around like the start in terms of like the finishing average, like who wins based off what, and it's just, you know,
it's a start now.
It's start across, you know, which
really is
we don't know if we need that as much, you know.
I know, and it's hard to decide whether is it the tracks,
is it the bikes,
is it also the fact that there really is 10 people that can win if they just get out front. Like I don't. Yeah, it's hard to say, but at the same time, you know, it's hard to pass. Like no matter what, when it's rutted like that and it's a slot car track, it's pretty tough to make moves. I would say, just because you're kind of stuck where you're at, and it's really a game of waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
Yeah.
If you start in 8th and those guys don't make many mistakes, you're kind of screwed. You're not really going to move up much.
Yeah, and I think like Joe is a great example, right?
Yeah.
Like the dude figured out his starts at the end of the year was a threat.
Yeah.
No starts, no Joe.
Yeah.
And you know, you're missing a dude that can challenge.
Yeah.
For races and race wins, and you know, like even Salt Lake, like where you started that race is like kind of where you finished almost.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That there's just you've got no chance of moving forward.
Yeah.
And no matter what you did, even doing the harder thing of skimming the.
Like I firmly believe, like Salt Lake, if and I'm not saying this would have changed the outcome, but because the guys I was racing were good in whoops too, RJ and whatever, but. Like, had that been a bigger set of whoops that we weren't jumping, I don't know if I would have caught RJ, but I probably would have got around Jalik maybe earlier, and possibly, you know, some of the other guys earlier, like where I mean, I was trying my ass off to, I couldn't make anything really happen. So, and if you go look at the times of that race, I think like the top 5 all literally did the same lap time. Like,
yeah. I got
seriously.
there and I was like, oh well, this sucks. As soon as I saw the track, there was flat turn, flat straightaway. Then there was another long ass flat straightaway into the flat turn, which I actually liked the turn before that rhythm.
Yeah,
but it was just like so much space of that Supercross track. There was no Supercross on it.
Yeah,
and I was just like, this
one big rhythm,
one line that everyone was.
But
everyone
it was
doing
everybody
the
did
same
the same
thing.
thing.
And even in practice, the last two up ramps out of that rhythm section fucked.
Oh yeah.
From practice.
Yeah.
Completely. I was like, so that, you know, when you were saying before, like, is it the bikes? Is it it's like, well, I don't know if it's the bikes, because in like 5 laps of the first practice, it's that.
Yeah.
So to me, that seems a little bit like the prep. But I mean, that's where I wish there was just like more transparency. Because it's like, have you ever spoke to the Dirtworks guys about it?
No, honestly, I haven't.
You're like one of the top dudes in the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But there's no link. You know what I mean? Like, there really isn't that much communicate. You guys kind of just get there and kind of get what you're given almost, you know?
Yeah. I think it would be cool if, like, just you kind of get the feel for, like, every race has its own unique kind of feel to it. But I wish it was more like, you know, you kind of knew you were getting into. Like, I would say Glendale's a consistent one. It's covered.
Yep.
It's always hard pack. And, like, that's cool. But I think that's what the big change that would have to happen is riding in more covered stadiums, though. Because, you know, like, I don't know, what's a good example? San Diego. Like, that dirt was actually really good. And I think it would have been more of a hard pack track.
Yeah.
But it got rained on.
Yeah.
San Francisco would have been a gnarly, sick, rutted track. Like, whether it rained or not, I think it was a softer track. So you'd have these different, like, you would know what you're going to get into. Seattle's always soft. Even if it was covered, it would be soft. And then it would play to certain riders on certain tracks, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And we really only got to see that one race. And, like, that was Glendale. It showed who was better on hard pack. And then the rest of them pretty much, besides Denver, were all pretty much rut cross, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. There's one thing I've learned doing this is that there's always a reason.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, someone always, like, they're doing literally their best job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there's some dude.
No, and like, like Dirtworks, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to think that I don't want them to think they crushed it. I mean, for them to even get the track rideable half the time was insane. I
was going to say, the fact that you guys got to do all of the races this year is incredible.
It is.
But that's not to say that
get us some covered stadiums is what it's really the.
But even Arlington, dude, was crazy, right?
Yeah, true.
That was
Indy's covered too, right?
Yeah, that was the one.
And
Arlington was the one where I was like, "Oi, what's going on? We got a fucking roof." Like, and I hadn't said anything to that point, and I'm like, "It's a pretty big roof on this bitch."
Yeah. even
it's like crazy, right?
St. Louis was pretty damn rutted. I was surprised by that. Actually, by race time, it probably didn't look as bad, but I remember press day, I was like, "Holy shit, what have I got myself into here?" I mean, I liked it because it was kind of like Seattle, but yeah, it's pretty wild how rutted they're becoming.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.